Microcasting for your city. Talkapolis.
Bandwidth for today's show is brought to you by SoftLayer.com. We love SoftLayer here at Talkapolis. They are the greatest hosting company ever. They make everything easy. Check out their website at SoftLayer.com. Thanks again for sponsoring the show. Also by Nashville Violins, the string player's #1 choice for their string instrument needs. Nashville Violins offers everything from lessons to repairs. Make sure you check them out at NashvilleViolin.com. Howdy, everybody, and welcome to Football Fantasy here at Talkapolis. I'm Kelsey.
I'm SHARRA.
And we have our resident host, Nancy, here on Skype.
Thanks, Nancy, for being here.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, kick it off for us.
Well, of course. Hey, guys, I'm Nancy Filippelli, and welcome back to Football Fantasy, the show that puts you in the know of a little game called fantasy football that today has over 19 million people competing in leagues worldwide. And we want to help you win your league. We'll also give you some football news along the way about our home team, the Tennessee Titans, and how they match up player to player to our fantasy teams here at Talkapolis.
Awesome.
So, yes. So let's start with the Titans. The crazy win over the Lions, 44 to 41.
Yeah.
Rob Barone is kicking the winning field goal. What do you guys think about the matchup this week with the Titans and the Texans?
Well, I mean, I am from Texas, so I have to say that, I'm kind of rooting for the Texans. I mean, they haven't been the best team. I haven't really been excited about rooting for them in the past. But, I think they could bring it back, and I mean, I think they could really, actually do something. Because I have Foster on my team, so I'm kind of hoping that he comes out in full force,
Well, but isn't he injured this week, though?
Arian Foster?
Yeah. He was, not at practice, but I just want to think that's probably just because he's, taking a break.
It seems like the Houstons have kind of been an underdog lately, but I think they might surprise a lot of people. The only thing that could play in the Titans' favor probably is that the Texans have 3 times as many injured players. If we want to bring that up on the screenshot.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Titans only have about 5.
Where do you see that? I don't see it.
Well, our viewers can see it.
That's all that matters.
You're just going to have to pretend, Nancy.
That's really all that matters.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, good news, we have the refs back. So that will be a huge, advantage to actually everybody. But, last night they started at the Ravens game, and they got a standing ovation when they walked out into the crowd.
Yes, they're big time now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was nice. Well, I think it'll be a battle of the running backs. We have 2 of the best running backs in the game playing in this game here, Chris Johnson and Arian Foster. Even though Chris Johnson hasn't yet produced like we would hope for him to, Houston is the last undefeated team in the AFC. So their defense is solid.
Yeah.
Mildly. And even if they do have some people that aren't playing, they're still going to dominate. They've only been averaging letting the other teams get about 67 yards per game rushing. So that does not bode well for Chris Johnson. Yeah. And the quarterbacks kind of match up, very similar yards, similar stats. So it's really going to come down to on the ground and defenses. And, I mean, like I said, Houston's defense is solid. So it's going to be a struggle.
I think it's going to be a really exciting game, though, considering what happened last week. And I think the morale of the Titans is really up and for them kind of thing. And we might got this. There might be hope.
There might be.
Hope so. The Titans' offensive line is extremely shaky, and they're going to have their hands full with this matchup.
How do you think it plays into the fact that the Titans kind of used to be the Oilers, and then they moved? So I mean, there's kind of some Houston, Tennessee sort of close to home there.
I think there's a little rivalry.
Yeah.
I like to think so.
I think so.
I love the Texans, though, too.
Yeah.
I mean, I love the Titans. But I've gotten to follow the Texans because they're for the NFL, they're pretty much a new team. I've been able to follow them. What did they start, 1996 or 7 or something?
No, it was 2001.
Wow, see? So they're new. They're new to me.
I know. I just always wish they had a better name. I get that we're from Texas, but really, on the nose, the Houston Texans. I remember hearing that announcement as a little kid, listening to it on the radio when they were announcing the new team name, and I was like, really?
Yeah, but Texas is almost its own country.
It is.
So
Oh, no, it definitely is.
I
but
think people love that name. You love that name. You know you do. You like
Part
to tell.
of me
Where's your
loves
big
it.
Texas necklace?
Not wearing
She
it
literally
today.
has one that's like this big, and it's
Tomorrow.
the entire state.
Yeah. But I just, I just wish they had a better name. But I'm excited. I'm kind of excited to see my two places match up.
Yeah. Well, Nancy, you put together a list of the top 5 players for each position, didn't you?
did.
Who do you think people should be playing?
I
In
did.
the fantasy world.
If they're not already starting these people, they should. If they're all these people that I'm about to tell you, none of them are hurt. A couple of them had limited practice, which if you go to NFL.com and you look up players and best available, Nick can show you a screenshot of that. You'll be able to see who practiced, who didn't, who has limited practice. LP means limited practice. DNP means did not practice. And O obviously means out and all of that. So for quarterbacks, we have at the top Joe Flacco with 7 touchdowns and 206 yards. And you guys, nobody even has him in our league.
I know. That didn't
I
sound
was
familiar.
disappointed.
Available. He's a free agent. I'm stacked at running back. I'm stacked at quarterback, so I don't need him. I have Aaron Rodgers. I picked up Andy Dalton, which brings me to number 2. Andy Dalton, quarterback for the Bengals. I talked about him last week on the show. He has 6 touchdowns, and 176 fantasy points. Did I say that Joe Flacco has 206 yards? I meant 206 fantasy points.
Okay.
And that is the highest.
So he's just at the top.
He's at the top. He's number 1. Number
Nice.
3 is RG3, Robert Griffin III, and he has 6 touchdowns and 175 fantasy points. And then Ben Roethlisberger, 8 touchdowns, 170 fantasy points, and Drew Brees, who I played last week against John, has 7 touchdowns and 168 fantasy points. Running backs will go to CJ Spiller. He had limited practice, but that doesn't mean that he's out. It just means that they're resting him, or he might have had a little bit of an injury, but he's going to play. And he's had 3 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown, and he has 63 fantasy points, and that puts him at the top of the leaderboard for the running backs. And then there's Ray Rice with 3 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving, and that's 62 fantasy points. And then Arian Foster, your favorite.
Exactly.
He's had full practice, so he's
Yes.
fine. Good to go.
He's ready.
Play. And he's had 3 rushing touchdowns, and he's caught a touchdown too. So 4 total, giving him 53 points. And Reggie Bush, who is on my home team, the Dolphins,
Yes.
and he has 2 rushing touchdowns and 47 fantasy points. And that brings us to wide receivers with Torrey Smith, who I don't think anybody has in our league. There are a couple people that we didn't really expect. Like, I think not a lot of people own these people in other leagues. So it'd be good to do your homework and pay attention and pick these people up if they're free agents in your league. So Torrey Smith has 3 touchdowns, 332 yards, and 55 fantasy points. Calvin Johnson, he had full practice because he was hurt a little bit last week, and he has 1 touchdown, 369 yards, and 52 fantasy points, making him number 2. Number 3 is AJ Green. He has 2 touchdowns, 311 yards, and 45 fantasy points. And then Mike Wallace, who's on a bye week, who's on my team. I had to make sure I sat him this week. 3 touchdowns, 234 yards, and 45 fantasy points. And number 5, somebody else who I just picked up, who was a free agent, which I couldn't believe, Danny Amendola, 1 touchdown, 296 yards, and 440 fantasy points. Tight ends are Vernon Davis with 4 touchdowns.
Yay, he's mine.
Yeah, I know. Tony Gonzalez, 3 touchdowns, 39 fantasy points. Martellus Bennett, who nobody has, free agent. So if you're hurting at tight end, then you can pick him up and start him on your team. And he has 3 touchdowns and 36 points. So he's like not far off number 1 and number 2, you guys. So if anybody's hurting at tight end, pick him up. Heath Miller, 4 touchdowns, 36 fantasy points, and Jimmy Graham, who I have in my other league, 3 touchdowns, and 34 points. I think you have him, your mom. Do you, Nick?
He has no idea. He literally has no idea.
So,
Kickers, number 1, Justin Tucker for Baltimore, 41 points. Phil Dawson, that has something to do with he has 1 game advantage over everybody else because they played last night. But Phil Dawson, Cleveland's kicker, 39 points. Jason Hansen, my kicker, for the Lions, 39 points. Steven Gotkowski, 39 points for New England. And Lawrence Tynes, who was also available, free agent in our league, and I'm sure other leagues too. New York Giants with 38 points. And the top 5 defenses, can anybody guess the first one?
I don't know.
On my team, take a guess.
Of course.
Yes.
I don't know.
You're the experienced one. So how hard is it to be a free agent? I mean, do you have to be a really big deal before you get the opportunity?
What?
Like a free agent, that doesn't mean that you are on anyone's team. I mean, you're like loyal
that's
to them.
not a free agent is not a good thing.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
I mean, it's not a bad thing either. It just means, in fantasy or in real life are you talking? Because in fantasy, a free agent is somebody that we just haven't drafted.
Okay. And then, so what's the difference between that and in real life?
Well, a free agent is somebody who's not even playing, who's not even picked up on any of the team. For example, wow, he's escaping me. Terrell Owens. Huge monster player. He's an animal, but he's got such an attitude problem that no teams will pick him up, and so he's a free agent.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's a better deal if you're with a team.
We're not going to because he's too much of a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he's old, for football standards.
Yeah.
Okay.
Football standards. And
That's good to know.
top 5 defenses is the Bears, the Ravens coming in at number 2 with 37 fantasy points, the Browns.
Yay,
with
it's me.
5, Redskins with 34, and Jets, my least favorite team, 33. So there you have it for the leaderboard for, thus far, week 4. And we'll give you some more information next week on who's topping the leaderboard as well.
Awesome.
Yes.
So definitely we should be going through all of our rosters and deciding who we want to trade before the weekend.
Absolutely. And also we want to look at our Tennessee Titans, Talkapolis Titans.
Yes, definitely.
And our team there, and who are we starting, and are we starting the best players? I mean, we're starting the starters. That's a given. But Kenny Britt is hurt. He missed practice on Thursday. His ankle is busted up. So he may not play. There's a chance he will play, but we have to keep a close eye on him because they're not telling us as of yet. So we might have to sit him and play somebody else that isn't hurt. So we have to look up other wide receivers and see who, might start in his place. And Jared Cook's shoulder, he's a tight end.
Right.
His shoulder, he didn't practice on Wednesday, and he had limited practice on Thursday. So he might be out, which means more field time for my husband, Craig Stevens, the other tight end.
Does the practice make a huge, I mean, I know that's kind of a silly question, but are some people just so talented, like they can have limited practice and they still are ballers at the game?
Well, yeah, some people, and then some, there's different reasons. Like Steve Hutchinson, he's on special teams or defense. He didn't start, or he didn't practice at all, and that's not due to an injury or anything. And he might still play. We don't know. So, but Jared's situation is his shoulder. And that's why he had limited practice on Thursday and he didn't practice on Wednesday. So that could hurt him playing in Sunday's game. He might not play because he didn't practice and because of the injury.
Okay.
We're going to take just a second to shout out to our sponsor of the day. Our sponsor today is Parlor Production Studios here in Nashville.
So excited.
We love them. We're really excited to feature them. Basically, if you are looking for a Nashville producer to help turn your vision into reality, whether it's songwriting or recording, then Parlor Studios is an awesome place. We love them. They have these really cool rooms. You can go in and record with studio musicians. You can use it as a demo studio. Be sure to check them out. Check out their sponsor link on our website. So.
Well, I want to check him out.
Yeah? You want to record some songs, Nance?
Yeah.
Grammy Award winners record there.
Yeah, they've had Grammy Award winners there, so.
Can do it. If Taylor Swift can do it, I can do it. Okay.
So true. So true.
Obviously.
Fighting words here. Fighting words. All right, well, who is matching up with who this week in our fantasy league? Who are you playing?
That's a good question.
We should look at those matchups. I know that I'm playing the Titans.
I know that. Who are you playing?
I'm playing the Titans, which I'm excited about because obviously I have a lot of Texans on my team because, Texas. So I'm really excited that it's going to be kind of like an interesting matchup because, they're playing in real life.
Yes.
Right. I like that.
It's not
I
fancy.
noticed that the Assassinating Dragons 11 points because they started the Ravens defense last night.
I know,
Yeah, we
I know.
did.
So someone's already taken the taken the lead
John
here.
by storm.
Exactly.
This is gonna
You
be her
better
first
beat him
win.
for me because he crushed me last week. So hey, listen, girl power.
Yeah.
Pound it out.
That's what it's all about.
We gotta
look
stick
at that.
together. Pound it.
Pound it out. Oh, I love it.
You need to crush him, okay?
Oh,
That's the plan.
Okay. Yeah, we still have to come up with a prize, you guys.
I know, we haven't come up with a prize.
to help us
Oh,
think.
we
Tweet
need a
at
prize.
us
Please
what you
let us know.
think
Viewers
is
can help us.
What?
what.
The viewers can help us.
Exactly.
That's what
We need
I'm
your
saying.
help.
We need an awesome prize.
We do. We need to know what we should be playing for, what sort of honor is going to be bestowed on us whenever
So I can try harder.
I win this whole week. Because I will, apparently.
Yeah.
Football and oats for the win.
Yes.
But check out our Talkapolis League page on NFL's Fantasy. Write into us. Let us know what you're feeling. If you feel like we're making good decisions, if you feel like we aren't,
you
little,
just wanna yell at
little
us.
friendly competitions always welcome. But Nancy, do we have anything else for today?
Oh, just tell them. You know what? Don't keep in touch with yourself. Keep in touch with us. Let's go on. You know what I mean? We know that you keep in touch with yourself.
Yeah.
So
let us know.
Well,
Let
thanks
us know.
for being here with us
I know.
from
Thank you.
one
I
of the
miss you guys.
Carolinas.
Yes, I miss you, and I will see you next week. And I'm very excited
Yes.
about that. And thank you to you all for tuning in. And we will see you next week.
Awesome.
Bye.
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 Microcasting for your city. Talkapolis.